Well, hello and welcome to Motorcycle Live here at the NEC. I'm Michael Mann for BikeSocial, and we're going to talk about motorcycling tours and holidays. Now, whether you're a newbie or you're highly experienced, we're going to try and ask some questions to the guys that run many of the tours around the world to find out what the most common sort of apprehensions, starter questions, key tips and advice on what you should be looking for, planning for, whether you're going to do it yourself or whether you're actually going to take part in one of those tours. And whether that's taking a CRF 250 over to Wales and camping for a night, or take an Indian Roadmaster to Route 66, or even a GSA through the hills of Morocco. So let's find out what's in store. So I'm here with Tim on the Eagle Rider stand. So firstly, tell us a bit about Eagle Rider. What do you do?
Eagle Rider, we're the exclusive providers of rentals and tours to Harley-Davidson in America. We run rentals, self-guided tours and guided tours. You can do anything from a single-day rental out of Vegas or LA or New York to all the way up to a 2-week riding tour of the Rockies or the West.
Fantastic. And what are the most common concerns that people come to you with?
I think security is an issue, which in America really isn't a problem.
And what are the other top tips that you've got for people in terms of remembering things and packing things?
Travelling light is absolutely, less is more. The less you bring, the more fun you're going to have.
And Tim, where's your favourite place in the States to ride?
Pacific Northwest. So out of Seattle, sort of around Idaho, down through into Northern California, that whole the Pacific Coast Highway, really beautiful, really, really beautiful.
So here we are with Nathan Millward. Nathan, hello, welcome. So you organise garbage run tours.
Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about what that entails.
I guess what you could say they are is a rough and ready tour in a way, unpretentious tours. They are on your own bike. They started out as a UK-based Land's End John O'Groats tour, and I get people on C90s and 125s and everything.
Speaking of C90s, I know it's not a C90, but right behind you, and this is where your almost all authenticity on motorcycle travel comes from. This is the very bike you rode from Sydney to London, is that effectively right?
Yes, and then New York to Alaska, so she's double continents. Dorothy is a Honda CT110 postal bike that a long time ago now I did that trip on, but I think that was my baptism of fire into motorcycle travel. That was my starting point, and I suppose that's allowed me to go into the touring business, but in a more laid back way or casual way. But I'm taking 8 people across the Australian outback in May on these, so I'm providing them a bike each, and then I'm guiding them straight through the heart of the outback.
What other advice have you got for those people who perhaps have never toured before, never been out of the UK on a motorcycle?
I think be realistic. You know, don't start with some grand ambition to do 600 miles a day, or you know, you'll hear people say, I've got 5 days off and I'm going to get down to Switzerland and back. And you think, if you've never done that kind of riding before, that is a mission, and it's not really that enjoyable.
Do you get a lot of people who are coming on your tours who have never toured before, they've never ridden before? And what are their main concerns? What's the sort of most common question people come to you with and think?
So I guess you've got questions of what to pack, what camping gear, what weather gear, what bike, what tyres, all those sort of questions you trip yourself up over. But I have learner riders because it's non-motorway. I have people who've only just passed the test. I have people in the 80s. So I kind of have everything, and I encourage people who've never travelled before to come with me, because my idea is to give people the confidence to be able to do it on their own.
Fascinating advice. Thank you so much for coming. Cheers. Well, I'm here with Amy from Vici Motorcycle Tours, who runs the show. Amy, what are the main worries or concerns that people have when they've never done a tour before, when they first come to talk to you?
I think probably one of the main things is not being on their own bike. So obviously, occasionally when you go away, most of the time you will rent a bike, and obviously it can be quite daunting because you don't necessarily ride that style at home, or it might be a bit bigger than you used to. But as soon as they're out there and they have a little bit of a go on it, people typically wonder why they're worried in the first place, to be honest.
And do they worry about crashing or the weather?
Yeah,
or
I mean, being on the wrong side of the road obviously is quite a big thing, Europe and America. Little things like you can turn right on a red light in America really confuses people.
Where would be the most popular tours that you sell?
The most popular would be the best of Route 66 and the Route 66 because it's the one that everybody wants to do. Everybody that rides a bike has it on their bucket list, I think. It's been all over the TV. It's one of the iconic kind of routes to do.
And what sort of advice and support do you offer for those who have never done tours and holidays before? Do you just cover absolutely everything in terms of what to pack and advice on what to take with you?
I mean, we personally as an organisation, we try and make sure that they're given as much information as possible before they go. We actually have a get together before, so you get to meet your team, you get to meet everyone, and it's a great chance just to ask questions. You know, often they think it's silly questions, but we've done it time and time and time again.
Brilliant, thank you for your time, Amy. We're not just going to take your word for it, we're going to talk to a couple of your customers as well. I'm here with Mike, who's a customer of BC Motorcycle Tours. Mike, thanks for joining us. Tell me about your first ever trip.
We went over and we were riding Harley Electric Glide, both apprehensive. I'd never ridden a Harley before. We started off in LA, straight out onto the streets of LA, which was character building. But then when we got out of LA, I mean, it's just amazing, absolutely amazing. Of course, the bikes are perfect for that sort of environment.
What makes touring in America so good, so interesting?
It's very big, very different. The roads are perfect. When you get out of the cities, there's a lot less traffic. And it's just great, the weather. Everything just makes it easy.
And what advice would you have for anybody thinking about doing a motorcycle tour or motorcycle holiday?
I would say just do it. Yeah, take the plunge. I'd never done it. I've now done 14 various tours, 12 of them to the States, and I try and go every year now if I can.
Tell me about organising your own tour. What sort of commitment does that take? You need to get all the people that you're going with involved, and what kind of tips can you offer perhaps those who have not done anything like that before?
Yeah, I think what you've got to do is decide really where you're going to go, whether you're going to Europe or the UK. Do it plenty in advance, sort of beginning of the year, and just generally look at the route, but also start looking at accommodation and ask each other what you want to do. There's nothing worse than going on a trip and somebody's really fed up thinking, I never wanted to do this trip, or I don't like where we're staying.
And when you're considering about taking your own bike, what sort of preparation would you advise people do to make sure that it's right for the tour?
Well, I think you've got to be comfortable on it. If you realise you're going to be doing maybe 200 to 300 miles a day, the bike's got to be right for you. But also, can the bike carry the kit what you want to take with you?
So what tips would you have for those who are going to be touring for perhaps the first time?
Just go out and do it. It's an amazing feeling. When either the ramp of the ferry or the tunnel opens and you get out there, it's just so exciting. You feel like king of the road, honestly. There's a whole adventure out there in front of you.
Speaking of roads, where's the most memorable, the best place that you've ever ridden?
Oh, well, I recently did a tour, BikeSocial Wounded. We did the Wild West. I mean, some of the scenery out there is unbelievable, and everything in America is on a huge scale. You get out of it what you put into it. Don't be afraid, and just learn, and as you go along, just decide what you want to do and do it.
So I'm here with Richard from Motorrad Tours on the BMW stand. Richard, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Tell me a little bit about what you offer as a tour company.
Well, Motorrad Tours are the UK's official BMW tour partner. We run about 40 motorcycle tours a year, huge range of stuff.
And what kind of bikes do you offer? The full BMW range?
It depends on the tour. The adventure stuff, we're obviously focused on GSs. We always ride BMW, but people are welcome to ride whatever they want to bring. We have Harleys on tours, Triumphs on tours, all sorts.
What are the most common concerns or apprehensions that customers usually ask you about before when they're booking?
It's a big variety. It depends where people are. You know, what we're trying to do with adventure travel particularly is add some security, add some knowledge, because, you know, a lot of people can do a lot of stuff independently these days, but We've been there, we've recce'd it, we know the routes, we know the places to stay, so we can make sure you get the best value for your time. You don't have dead days, you don't have wasted days. We've been there, we've put a lot of work into it, but people's concerns vary enormously. We have people who it's their first trip into Europe, simply riding on the other side of the road is an issue. Bike security is often a concern. We're always very conscious about where we stay, all the way up to, I'm going to be travelling in Vietnam, it's a communist state, am I going to get locked up because I voted Tory? You never know.
And what would your top tips be to give to those people who have not toured before, not ridden outside of the UK? What would you say to those guys about things to pack or things to not pack, perhaps?
Not pack is the answer. Everybody packs too much. Packing light is absolutely the key.
You've obviously spent a lot of time and you've covered a lot of miles on two wheels around the world, but where would your top three roads be?
Absolutely. Road of 1864 bends in Thailand. It's probably number one. Number two, I think probably Carretera Austral down in Patagonia. And number three, I don't know, I want to give this one away, but there's a road in the Pyrenees that goes from Coldenago to a place called Berga. 1.5 track wide, one wide, tarmac, sheer drops, bit technical, fantastic road. Get to the end, turn around, go back, ride it again, you never get bored of it.
Richard, thank you so much. That's really, really good insight. Cheers. Thanks for joining us. So I'm with Paul from the MCI Tours. Paul, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So you offer a variety of different types of tours. Can you just tell us a little bit about the variety there?
Yeah, sure. We do escorted tours and self-guided tours in Europe. So these are either a group of people and we, along with you, take a particular itinerary.
And what are the usual questions you get asked? What are the main concerns, worries that people would have?
Funnily enough, they're often about insurance because it's not necessarily something they've considered before. Of course, you don't just need normal motorcycle insurance, you've got to have medical insurance, because although we've got this EHIC thing, that really doesn't cover you for everything.
And when people go on tour, have you got any top tips as to what to take, or in fact what not to take?
I've seen this at various places. It's make 2 piles, throw 1 pile away and take half of the other pile. So travel light, I think, is, and lots of layers. Don't have big bulky items, because whatever tour you go on, you're probably going to experience different temperatures, and you need to be able to layer up.
And if you were going to take your own holiday into Europe, where would you go?
For a shorter one, it would be Austria, which seems to be becoming everyone's favourite nowadays. It's fabulous roads. You can get into Switzerland and Italy on day rides, and into Germany. It's just a lovely place to go to.
And how about further afield? What about the other continents?
Other continents, well, we do love being in America. So we've got various tours over there. We experience the joys of the US. The people over there are lovely, and it's such a massive country. You can kind of understand why they don't necessarily want to go anywhere else. So any of the tours over in the US are well worth it.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Cheers.